Na festa do fim de semana, só rolê bom. Ela chega e desencana com passo bem show. Na festa do fim de semana, só rolê bom. Ela chega e desencana com passo bem show.
Hello, Descendants. With Season 2 Void Chasers in full swing now, I personally feel that Viessa is going to be one of the more prominent characters used in this content just because most of the enemies are pyro or fire-based characters, and the only two at the time of this recording are Haley and Viessa, who are chill, which is pretty much the counter to fire. And so I've been building this, and I have two builds, the crit build as well as a cold-bloodedness build. So let's go ahead and jump in. For Reactor, for the crit build, which we'll be covering first, the frozen singular reactor, which will cover Y singular, but you want the substats to be chill and singular just to boost your abilities overall. And for both of these builds, I'll be using the components, the Polar Knight set, which is obtained through Frostwalker. He's pretty easy now because of the changes and nerfs to him, so finding a good component set here shouldn't be an issue for you. Now for weapons, because we're in Season 2 at the time of this recording, Voltia is pretty prominent right now just because of the electric arcing and being able to break the shields. And if you're watching this during the season, if you're free to play and don't want to do the battle pass, all you have to do is just unlock page 3 right here, and you can be able to get it. Now, so even if you don't want to dish out money, page 3 is pretty easily obtainable early on, and so you'll be able to just clear through things. Now, another good option is Clairvoyance, which is another beam rifle, and the reason for this is because it has an innate passive which gives chill resistance of negative. So the more you hit an enemy with, the more susceptible they're to receive chill damage. And so Viessa's chill, you know, you sort of see how that goes. So another one to go for. And then since we're using singular, if you want to, you could use the Blue Beetle. I personally would not suggest using it as your main weapon, but see, it says when using a singular skill, grants the self unique ability Purification, and what that does, it has a duration of 1 second and removes a debuff from you. So if you're getting a lot of debuffs on yourself, you can remove it, but again, I would not recommend using it, but it's an option in case you did not know that the Blue Beetle exists and it has the innate ability. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the modules. So if you notice right here, first of all, is that we're using the absolute 0. When using a skill, Ice Shackle is not inflicted. When the skill lands a critical hit, inflicts Frostbite on the target, so proccing our components. Successfully inflicting Frostbite triggers Ice Sphere. Now, one interesting thing is that, let's just jump to the Cold Blood real quick, just to show you, is that if we jump here and we go to our skill, if you notice, it says chill infusion, but if we go to our crit and we do absolute 0, if you notice, it's chill and singular. So that's why we have the singular reactor, in case you're wondering why we're doing that, because all the abilities are chill and singular. So you want to sort of lay into that as much as possible. So absolute 0 is the Transcendent mod, whatever maneuvering mod you want, go for that. And this one is going to be typically a glass cannon in a sense, because we're not going to be using a lot of HP, and so the only HP we're going to be taking from is the max HP of battle stamina, because we want our skill duration up a little bit, and so we're sort of sitting around 7,000. Now granted, my components is not gold max HP, but it's just a little bit more, so but you're going to be very squishy in game content, so just be aware of that. Now, anything else is going to be focused on crits, because again, if you're successful landing a crit, inflicts Frostbite and all that, so we're going to get extra damage. So you want skill concentration, skill insight, front lines, emergency measures, basically anything that can give you a crit. And then everything else is a crit hit resistance, chill skill power from Glacial. And then now I'm going to focus on cooldown because these guys are pretty heavy in there. Like right now we're at 15 seconds cooldown, but base cooldown for your fourth ability is a minute, which is a little bit ridiculous. So if you're wanting to spam your abilities, we need to get that cooldown. So we're going to focus on Singularity because we're using Singularity abilities. We're going to get that power boost, but also skill cooldown, and then focus on chill because we're doing chill damage, cooldown, and then nimble fingers, and then MP conversion. Yes, we're losing a little bit of our maximum MP, but so far with these changes, MP orbs have been dropping fairly consistently, and it's not been an issue trying to revamp our MP consumption. But that is the build, and you can hit pretty hard with this build and all that. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, now moving over to the Cold-Bloodedness set and build, we're going to be changing our reactor to the Frozen Mechanics reactor because we're going to be focusing on spamming our fourth ability as much as possible. Because the fourth ability is tech based, we want chill and tech skill power boost. Our components are still the same, the Polar Knight set, and weapons don't really change that much. So now the main focus is the Cold-Bloodedness Transcendent mod. When using skills, increase skill power and decrease skill cost and skill cooldown. Frost roads are not created when moving. So basically, the second ability is going to be our bread and butter to proc everything so we can then start spamming. And we'll go into details a little bit later, but yeah. We have a cooldown of 7 seconds and then a duration of 27 seconds. We'll go get into details a little bit more on the nuances of this. Now, for your maneuvering, it's up to you on how you want to do that. Now, this one is going to be a little bit more, not more tanky, but you have a little bit more health, so you can take a little bit more shots compared to the crit build one, because we have the increased HP one, and we're sitting around 10,000 HP, or about maybe 11,000 if you could push that. So we're going to be able to take a few more shots right there. And then all the other mods are just going to be focusing into damage. So we have the Chill Master, we have the Chill Amplification. Now we are going to go into negative crit damage, but that doesn't matter. We're just focusing on damage one. Right now we have the Chill Amplification, Tech Amplification, and focus on Tech, which gives us a little bit of cooldown, but we're leaning into Tech because our fourth ability is chill in tech, so we're just wanting to focus on those two substats. Now we have skill extension just to increase our range of our blizzard. When we're doing that, frugal mindset is nice because skill cost, so that means you can spam your blizzards with a little bit less MP reduction cost, but also our skill range is increased as well, so it just gives a little bit bigger blizzard. And then we have the glacial one for skill power increase. And then the last two, nimble fingers with MP conversion, give us skill cooldown. And sure, we're losing a little bit of our maximum MP, but with all this content and all that, there's a lot of MP drops lately. So I've not been really seeing a huge issue with getting our MP back doing this content. So now here's how this works. Now, the blizzard right now is sitting at a 19.1 seconds of 60, which sounds pretty cool, and that's pretty good, but when you proc Cold-Bloodedness, let's take a look here. When you proc Cold-Bloodedness, if you look at our skill now, it drops down to 7.1 seconds. It has a duration of 8, so if you keep Cold-Bloodedness up, you can just have blizzards running 24/7, which is pretty nice. And one thing too is that if you're like, oh, but I have to remember Cold-Bloodedness, I'm in a fight, I have so much to think about. Well, one nice thing about this build is that, look at the duration. The duration is at 27 seconds, so it's almost half a minute before you need to reproc it, which is nice because so you're in the middle of a fight, you sort of forget what's going on, you have time to react. And even if you sort of miss your window to reproc it, it's only 3-second cooldown, so it's already available for you. So even if you're fighting for 45 seconds, the abilities available for you, and you'll be able to proc it. So don't need to worry too much about panicking of making sure, oh, I had to be minuscule micromanaging. This build is pretty easy to follow. So all you have to do is just proc this, pop your abilities, and as you can see, it's still going. If you'll notice, there's a green square on the left side of our screen, and that is the counter for Cold-Bloodedness. And as you can see here, we're just spamming, and we're still chilling. We're doing our abilities, doing nothing, and Cold-Bloodedness is still going. And then it's like, oh, we need to proc it. Boom, we're good to go. So yeah, it's a very easy build. It deals a good amount of damage and has been tested in pretty much all the content so far in the game, and I have not had any issues. So that's a Cold-Bloodedness build, and we'll move on to some fashion. Alright, we're moving on to fashion, and I've not seen a lot of content creators do this in part of their videos, and so for those who are into fashion, with the Season 2 drop, you're able to customize your base character looks without skins, which is pretty nice. So we'll have these implemented in my builds in the future. So for the head skin right here is a long hair, which I believe we were available through the either season pass or bonus rewards, but that's how I got the hairstyle from there. Now I do like this one. I had fun with my stream on how to do this. But yeah, this is the paint style we had. This is the matte black with the shiny metal ivory in the second. We're blanking the third, and we have the enamel deep black with the glossy pink, and then the enamel black. Now, cool thing about this is that this pink segment right here, you can sort of change it right here, and it changes this pattern here. So if you don't like the pink, you can just change this one, and as you can see, everything, so the whole thing just pops, which is pretty cool. Now, no, I don't want to apply. Back bling is the teddy bear from being a beta user, and then the spawn is the fire, which was, I believe, was a bonus reward. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.